What's going on, guys? It's Greg here, and I just wanted to do a quick video today about a discussion about UFOs and some other topics that are going on. It's a beautiful day here in the Hudson Valley of New York. I'm currently at an undisclosed location along the Hudson River. It's actually just a local park near my house, and I'm just going to go for a little walk here and talk to you guys about some interesting information that came out yesterday. So stick around. Alright guys, so this is the park that I'm walking at. This used to be like an old farmhouse, and now it's converted into a state park. And the Hudson River's right down there. It's beautiful weather today. It's about 70 degrees. Starting to feel like fall time a little bit. It's just a really nice location here. Alright guys, so basically the important news that I wanted to share with you guys is that the US Navy admitted that some UFO footage that was released 2 years ago, they basically admitted that it was legitimate, that the video footage is authentic, that it's not fake, and they also said that they admitted that it was unidentified, so they didn't want to actually say what it was. They didn't deny the objects on the video. They pretty much just said that it was unidentified, and they're sticking to that explanation. There's the Hudson River behind me, down there. So basically they're sticking to the explanation that whatever was on that video was unidentified, and it's authentic. So if you guys don't know what video I'm talking about, if you do a search of 2004, the USS Nimitz UFO footage, you can also look up the pilot. His name was David Frovar, I believe. I'm gonna put some links in the description below, but if you guys haven't seen the video, it's pretty cool, and it'll definitely convince you that there's a potential that UFOs are, visiting us, and that there may be, alien life. It's pretty compelling footage. So, basically in the video, there's a Air Force pilot who, using thermal, he's able to track a tic-tac shaped, UFO, unidentified flying object, flying around south of San Diego in the Pacific Ocean. Basically, the Air Force was on a training mission. Training exercise, and they dispatched some F-18s to intercept the UFOs that they saw on the radar. And supposedly they were tracking the UFOs for like 2 weeks. And they said they were like 8 to 10 tic-tac shaped objects on radar, and they didn't know what they were. They weren't any type of US military assets, so they obviously wanted to investigate and see what those were. So they dispatched some F-18s, and it's all captured on thermal. They were able to see the UFO flying around. And what's really interesting about the footage is that the object just moves really fast and in like straight lines, and also the pilot himself, who's obviously a credible source, he said himself that the object took off and covered 60 miles in a matter of seconds. And there's no technology now that's capable of doing something like that. So I just wanted to hear what you guys think about that. Do you think that we are alone? Do you think that there's possible existence of some type of, aliens that are visiting us, and they have advanced technology, and they're playing games with our aircraft carriers and our fighter pilots. In this situation, it was actually some big ash trees here. See up there, nice big ash tree. It'll make really good firewood, nice and straight. Basically, it was the USS Nimitz aircraft carrier that was dispatched to intercept these UFOs. So they had a whole fleet, of F-18s, and they had a whole squadron, not fleet, squadron, and the actual commander of the squadron is the guy who's very public about, what he saw, and he's very public about his experience that day. And he's definitely, I think he's a believer now of UFOs. So it's interesting information, and I think that it's definitely worth mentioning. I think the government has a lot of secrets that they're never going to tell us, and I think a lot of those secrets involve possible knowledge of alien life or unidentified flying objects, among other things too. I'm sure they have a lot of secrets that we'll never know that are very interesting. And another thing was Iran. Iran is getting very belligerent. Obviously, they, now Mike Pompeo is saying that, it was Iran that struck those facilities in Saudi Arabia and destroyed the oil fields. So it's definitely a good time to be prepping now, and take stock of what you have. Do a gap analysis, try to figure out what you need, see what you have now, do a gap analysis, find out what you need. If you need more food supplies, more food storage, then get more food. If you need to store more water, then store more water. If you need more ammunition, if you need more guns, if you need more fuel storage, or generator, candles, lanterns, things like that. It's too much to talk about right now, but I recommend to you guys to be on red alert. You should be following the news regularly, especially Iran and the Middle East. It's possible that Netanyahu could lose re-election, but you guys should be on high alert and do a gap analysis, figure out what you need, and close those gaps. Whatever supplies you need, whatever skills you need to learn, physical fitness, shooting, self-defense, fire starting, wilderness survival, urban survival. Prepping is not just about gear and supplies. It's about skills, physical fitness, mentality, knowledge, education. Reading is good. Become very knowledgeable about everything related to prepping, and try to increase your knowledge and be a smart person. It's always better to have more knowledge than less, especially if there's a grid down situation and you need to know something. You may not have a chance to at that time educate yourself, practice, and like, let's say if you've never started a fire before, and all of a sudden you need to start a fire. If you've never done it before and you don't know how to do it, it's not the time to learn when you're... So it looks like I ran out of space on my memory card. Sorry about this. So I'm back indoors now. I finished my walk. I just wanted to say, continue the discussion about Iran, and I wanted to talk about how prepping is not just about gear. It's about survival skills, physical fitness, mentality, intelligence, being able to think quickly, being able to think outside the box. And, you know, these are not things that you can learn overnight. You need to practice this stuff now, you know, while the grid is up, and, you know, before, you know, the world goes to hell, which hopefully will never happen, but it's a possibility, you know. Because like I said, the last time that you want to, the time that you don't want to be trying to learn how to do something or learn something is when you actually are in a real life, you know, survival or SHTF situation. You don't want to have to start a fire for the first time when you're, you know, cold and wet and hungry in the middle of a blizzard. You don't want to learn how to shoot a pistol, you know, when you're about to get stabbed or shot by somebody else. You want to have an ample amount of training time, you know, with your pistol, with, you know, being able to start fires, being able to defend yourself using your hands. You want to have ample training time with that. And another thing that I think is, while I'm on this topic of, you know, more specific prepping things, physical fitness is an area that I feel is overlooked by a lot of preppers. A lot of preppers, you know, they focus heavily on gear and weapons and things like that, you know, but really physical fitness is crucial. And if you're not physically strong enough to defend yourself, or, you know, if you don't have the endurance to, you know, stand toe to toe with somebody for at least a couple of minutes in an altercation, then you're gonna be in trouble. And now, while the grid is up, is the time for you to get in shape, get healthy, quit all of your addictions. If you're a smoker, if you like to drink, if you're addicted to sweets, whatever other kind of drugs, you know, that are out there, or other types of addictions, gambling, pornography, you know, all these different addictions that we all have. Everybody has their own addiction. And you know, it's important to eliminate those before there's an SHTF situation, because, you know, once the crap hits the fan, and, you know, if you're a smoker, you know, or something like that, you know, you're going to be in trouble. Or if, you know, you start having withdrawal symptoms, you know, or if you're addicted to pain medicine or something like that, you know, now's the time to get clean, you know, get your mind clean, get your body clean, you know, spiritually, physically, mentally. You know, another aspect too is your mental health and your mental well-being. That's very important too. You know, if you have any outstanding mental health issues, now's the time to address them before, you know, SHTF hits. And, you know, mental health, it's not necessarily, I'm not trying to say like if you're crazy, or, you know, you're you know, just insane or something. I'm talking about, you know, if you're mildly depressed, or, you know, you have some other type of issue that you know, is affecting you now. You know, imagine how that's going to affect you when the grid goes down. So, you know, go and see a therapist and talk about whatever's bothering you. Address your depression or your anxiety, or, you know, whatever issues you have personally. You know, if it's somebody that, one of your loved ones that died recently, and you're having a hard time getting over it, you know, now's the time to work on those issues. You know, if you have anxiety or some type of phobias, depression, obsessive compulsiveness, whatever the situation is, now is the best time to handle that. And you know, while you have time, get clean. You know, clean your body, clear your mind. Make sure your mind is cleared. You know, if you have any emotional issues or baggage that you may have to bring with you to SHTF, you know, you don't want to be in a very emotionally unstable state. You know, when SHTF hits, you want to make sure that you're emotionally clear, and you can think rationally, you can think clearly, that your mind isn't cluttered with emotional baggage. So try to get over anything that's bothering you now. If you were recently divorced, or whatever, something serious happened emotionally in your life, try to confront that situation now and move past it, so that way when SHTF hits, your mind is clear, and you have a laser focus on what you need to do to protect yourself, protect your family, provide for them, provide for yourself. If your mind is full of distractions, whether it's mental health issues, emotional baggage, it's going to be hard for you to make good decisions, and for you to stay motivated, and to have good, sharp, mental abilities. Because if you're bogged down with any kind of mental issues or emotional issues, you're not going to have clear thought. You're not going to be as sharp, because your mind is going to be, on something else. So just keep that in mind. Clear everything out now while you can. And then, like I said, physically, if you have any health issues, if you have, poor physical fitness, or maybe you're average physical fitness, but you want to improve yourself, now's the time to do that, and physical fitness is critical. That's why, all the militaries around the world, they always train physical fitness first, when you're conscripted into the military, or if you volunteer to join, they always do physical training first before they even give you a gun, and before they even take you to the range, because physical fitness is the foundation of everything else. If you're not physically and mentally fit, then what good is it if you give someone a gun? Anybody can pull a trigger, but it's the man behind the trigger, or the woman behind the trigger, that makes the difference between someone who's dangerous, like a Navy SEAL or a Green Beret, versus, someone who's careless, or is, a danger to other people, if they're, crazy or something like that. So it's the person behind the weapon, not the weapon itself. That's the most important thing. And physical fitness is critical because, for obvious reasons, SHTF, I've talked about this many times, you're going to need to, cover difficult terrain. You're going to have to hike, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 miles. You may have to defend yourself or defend your family from aggressive people and violent people. If you're not physically strong enough, and you're not healthy enough and physically fit enough to fight off any potential attackers, then you're going to be an easy prey. One of the reasons how I was able to avoid any kind of serious fights in most of my adult life was, because I was physically fit. I was, larger than the typical adult male, and most people just didn't want to mess with me because they see, that I'm bigger than them, and, I look like I'm in good shape, and I look serious. I look like I mean business. So, most of these attackers are not going to take their chances against someone like me. They're going to go after easy prey. They're going to look for somebody who's weak, who's out of shape, who may be intoxicated. So, just being in good shape is a deterrent to attackers. And, it shows that you're not an easy victim, because human beings can be predatory, just like wolves, just like lions. And, wolves and lions, they prey on, they single out the weakest animal of the herd. And that's what human beings do. If you ever, study, any type of, violent encounters, you'll always see that gangs and groups of people, they single out the weakest person and they beat them up, or they take advantage of them. They don't go after the strongest, most prepared person, because that's more difficult for them, and they know that they're going to incur some type of injuries along the way. So just being in good shape, is going to be a deterrent for you, you know. And I was actually a bouncer for many years. I worked at some pretty bad environments, some inner city nightclubs, you know, where there was, I witnessed a stabbing one night. You know, I've been, you know, I've had to separate people that were in a major brawl. You know, I've seen riots. I've been, you know, involved in all that kind of stuff. So, you know, I know what human beings are capable of and how dangerous they could be, even with just their bare hands, especially when you have a large group of people. So, you know, and I never had any issues as a bouncer. You know, I never had anybody hurt me. I've never physically been hurt. I've never had somebody challenge me, you know, because they knew that it was just an uphill battle for them, and that it was an uphill battle they were going to lose. So you want to get to the point where that's where you want to be. You want to be able to intimidate people, not in a way that you scare them, but in a way that you're not easy prey. And so I'm getting a little bit off tangent here. You know, I was talking about Iran, and being prepared. You know, so like I said, do a gap analysis. You know, see what kind of gear you need. You know, food storage, water storage, ammunition. You know, weapons. And with the weapons, you know, it's better to have, you know, one shotgun, one pistol, one rifle, and be really good with them and know them in and out, and, you know, be really, you know, have a lot of training with those weapons than to have 10 rifles and a huge collection of guns and, you know, not be good at any of them, you know. So my recommendation is to get one rifle for SHTF, one shotgun for SHTF, and maybe one or two pistols for SHTF. And then just focus on getting good with those, focus on stockpiling ammo for them, you know, focus on learning how to fix them and learning, you know, all the gunsmithing aspects to it, so you can do, you know, field repairs if necessary. It might be worth it to learn how to reload and hand loading. You know, in an SHTF situation, you may run out of ammo and you're not going to really be able to just go to the gun store and buy ammo, so you may have to hand load your own ammunition. So it's good to store some powder, some primers, some casings, you know, shells, so you can just reload and make your own bullets, you know, and make your own cartridges. So, you know, that goes back to the whole aspect of being educated and reading, learning about, you know, how to gather food from wild sources, how to hunt, you know, knowing your surrounding area, you know, knowing the terrain around you, and being intimately knowledgeable about your surrounding area, knowing potential safe zones, danger zones, you know, areas where you can procure water and food that are clean, not contaminated. So these are all things that you guys should be doing now, you know, before the situation in Iran escalates, and, you know, there may be a war, there could be an oil crisis, there could be a recession. I mean, we don't know, and there's no point in speculating, but you know, it's better to be prepared than not prepared. And, you know, a lot of these things are not expensive. You know, storing some water is not that expensive. Buying a couple of weeks of food is not expensive. You know, physical fitness is not expensive. You know, just go to the gym, you know, run, go outside, go hiking, you know, spend time in the woods, you know, learn, you know, forest skills, learn how to hunt, you know, learn how to track, you know, learn how to navigate, you know, with a compass or with the stars, you know, learn about your surrounding terrain, you know, become a woodsman. You know, that's a very useful skill during SHTF. So I kind of went on a tangent here, but I'll be making more videos soon, and I hope you enjoyed this one. Take care, God bless, and I'll see you soon. Bye.